somebody who hasn't done this before. I mean, I've been in corporate America and in business for close to 27 years, which is longer than some people have been alive. Now, I don't mean that to brag. I mean that humbly because I've been around a while. And sometimes when people get up on stage and they talk about speaking, they talk about, well, you need to do this and you need to do this and buy my book and sign up for my webinar and sign up for my blog. And that's not what it's about. It's not about the rah-rah. You know, motivational speakers get a bad rap because they think of motivation as being what they thought Tony Robbins might have been in the 80s, which is all about rah-rah, getting you excited, getting you jumping up and down. But that's not what it's all about. No. Motivational speaking is not about just rah-rah and get you pumped up. It's sort of like taking a really great shower, and then when you leave the shower, it's like, you know, when you go to, they say when you actually go to a motivational speaker, you're probably going to retain close to 30% of what they say, and then literally an hour later, it's going to drop to 10%, and the next day, you may forget most of it, and what's going to happen is you're going to be demotivated because it's like, okay, well, I got the rah-rah on the pump, but I didn't really get anything out of it. So I just want to run over a couple points that really separate the differences between a rah-rah speaker, right? A rah-rah speaker, and somebody who adds significant, tremendous, like penetrating value into your brain, because that's really what a motivational speaker should do. Motivational speakers, let me just say one more thing. Motivational speakers are not about quoting every other motivational speaker. Stop it. I'm gonna smack you. Motivational speakers are not about quoting every other speaker and what you should do, because it's ridiculous. It's stupid. It's because one motivational speaker jumps on another motivational speaker, jumps on another motivational speaker, and you know what it is? It's like ridiculous. It's like everybody's stealing everybody's stuff, which you should do, but the difference, here's the difference, guys. You ready? Add your story and your experience. So let me give you a couple of tips on why motivational speaking is not just about rah-rah, but it's about value. And number one is you have to be a content creator. As a motivational speaker, your job is to provide massive value as a content creator. You want to talk about things that matter to people who care, that resonate with them, that make things happen. So here's an example. So a content creator is somebody who creates a storyline that gets you to think differently about things that you're doing in your life, and then you take action behind it. Okay, there's a difference between a motivational speaker saying, well, here's this really great quote, and go sit with it. That's not what it's about. Motivational speaking is about getting someone to listen to the content you're providing them, and they take that content, they make it their own, they make changes in their life, and then they take action, right? They take action based on the content that's provided to them. And here's the next thing. They pay it forward. They go teach someone else on how to make changes in their life. So being a content creator. Number two is having the right attitude. You know, I can sit there and go, you know what? You need to do this. You need to do this. You need to do this. You can only beat so much into someone's head. They're going to be like, stop it. You're driving me crazy. You can only beat things into people's heads for so long, and then you beat them up. I mean, how many of you, press 1 in the chat box if you've ever listened to a motivational speaker that beats things into your head, like this. Press 1 in the chat box if you've ever spoken to a motivational speaker or listened to a speaker that just drills things in your head. Doesn't that drive you crazy? I mean, it drives me crazy. I sit there and listen to motivational speakers and they're yelling at me. They're yelling in my face. Let me tell you something. Yelling in your face is not going to make somebody change. It's going to make them run in the opposite direction. They're going to run far away. So all these speakers that are yelling at you like this, that's not going to make someone change. That's going to make you throw up, and you're going to get nervous and you're going to run away. You know, the majority of people that walk away with value from a motivational speaker are this. 7% of what you say, meaning words, resonates. 35% come from your voice tone. 58% comes from your body language, not from you screaming in their face. So, to some of the speakers out there that scream a lot, Good for you. Is your longevity going to be there? Probably not. That's just my opinion. I'm not at your level. I'm giving you Anthony Conklin's opinion. Okay? So number one is you want to talk about, I'm just going back to my notes here, guys. Number one is content. Next one is your attitude. And number three is what? Your personal story. That's right. As a speaker, you want to talk about your story. Don't talk about Tony Robbins' story. Don't talk about T.D. Jake's story. Don't talk about John Maxwell's story. Don't talk about Jim Rohn's story. Don't talk about Napoleon Hill's story. Don't talk about Orange Sweat Martin's story. Don't talk about Aristotle's story. Don't talk about anybody's story. Talk about your story. What have you learned? What have you grasped and held on to? And what did you take in that happened to you in your life that you've made changes that are of value that you could pass on? I was married for 20 years. I got divorced 6.5 years ago. I went through depression. I lost weight. I was suicidal. I was a complete mess. Didn't think I was good enough. Met the woman of my dreams, got remarried. My whole life changed. I became an example for my kids. I became an example for my friends. And then my mom died. Changed my life. Went back into a spiral of emotions and fear. And then I realized, you know what? My mom had to die for a reason. Whatever that reason is, whether it be sickness or God or whatever you want to call it, her reason was she needed to leave this planet and this earth, and she's up in heaven watching over me. Those are stories that are my own personal stories. But I don't tell you just to make you feel sorry for me. I'm telling you that story that there's value behind it. My mom dying made me realize life is short, life is precious, life is valuable. Be grateful, have a great attitude. That's what my mom's passing taught me. My divorce taught me value relationships, value people, be honest, be transparent, and communicate. That's what divorce taught me. So I want to teach you those things through my personal stories. That is what it's all about, is sharing your personal story. So if there's anything you take away from this stream, guys, anything you take away is understand that a personal story is what resonates with other people, is sharing what happened to you. Don't tell me, don't quote a story from some book you read. Don't quote me some story from some psychology book you read or some speaker told you. Don't do that. Listen, I like Simon Sinek, because Simon Sinek talks about why. So I base a lot of things I do based on my why. I'm not going to sit there and quote Simon Sinek all day, because you can go watch him and go get it from him. But I'm going to use the concepts that I learned from Simon Sinek, the concepts I learned from Tony Robbins, the concepts I learned from Napoleon Hill. I'm going to make them my own, tell you my story, filter it through my story so it can add value to your life. It's not just about rah-rah, guys. It's about adding massive value to someone's life based on your story. So what are the three things? It's not just rah-rah. One is the content you provide. Two is your attitude. And three is your personal story. So if you're looking for a speaker, whether it be a motivational or transformational speaker, I'd love the opportunity to come speak to you, to speak to your sales team, to speak to your sales leaders, to speak to your association, to speak to your community, to speak to your high school, to speak to your university, and talk to you about how my story helped me rediscover my energy in my life by connecting my passion and purpose and living in my why. I want to show you how to find your why based on my story. And if you'd like to, please reach out to me. You can find me at anthonyjconklin.com. I'm everywhere on Twitter at Anthony J. Conklin. I do have a live streaming show which should kick off in the next 45 or 60 days. It'll probably be on Fire Talk. I'll let you know. Put your comments in the chat box. I read every one of your comments, and I will respond to every one of them. If you find value here, please jump out and like and share it with your friends. Share it with everybody who you think needs to hear this. Because I can't be successful, and I cannot have my message spread across the planet without amazing people like you. Thank you for spending a few minutes with me. I'm so appreciative and so grateful for all of you. And thank you for being here. And remember, before you go to bed tonight, look in that mirror and say these words. You have greatness within you. You have a very special gift. It's your responsibility and your obligation to live your why. And I'd like to be there to help you. Thank you so much for being here, guys. I love you so very much. And until next time, we'll see you later.